The private chef of Scottsdale. If you guys haven't known Will, he runs Scottsdale when it comes to food. His food is fabulous, and today we're going to be interviewing him and different various topics, to see how he got to this point. So, Will, at what moment in your life did you want to become a private chef?
I'd say that actually started back in South Carolina. I was working for a private resort. It's called Debadoo. It's on the coast of South Carolina, and I had a lot of different titles there. I was a sous chef. I was a kitchen manager. I was also just a chef on the line at another venue. We had multiple venues on site, but one of my titles was private chef, because every now and then they would send us out to do a private party in people's homes, and that was the first taste I got of it, and I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. That's been over 10 years ago, and then it really was in the back of my mind, but something I really didn't think about often until I got to Scottsdale, and 3 days in Scottsdale, and I was like, I need to start my private chef business, and that's really when it came about.
Wow, 3 days in Scottsdale, huh? You
Yeah.
made the decision.
Yeah, it was like, seriously, I was here like a few days, and I was actually up in at the quarter, and I saw a Bentley pull through, and there was this big like Great Dane type dog in the back, and it was running from one side to the other, and I was standing next to this guy I knew, and I was like, man, you see this? I was like, they got the dog just running all around in the back of the Bentley, and he was like, that's probably the dog's Bentley, and I was like, I need to start my private chef business ASAP.
Right.
And my whole idea was I'd be cooking on Camelback or in Silverleaf and these places like that,
Right.
and doing a lot of dinners like that, and that I knew there was a market for it.
Right.
That's what it was.
Now, who are some of your clients or past clients that you've used to cook for? Any celebrities, any famous people?
I've cooked for some celebrities. It's kind of hard. A lot of the celebrities, they don't plan very well. They wait until like, I got a few celebrities that know like at least give me a 2-week notice. But most contact like day of, maybe 2 days notice. It's hard for me to get those guys in. I'm not going to cancel a party that's been booked for 6 months for somebody who called me 3 days before, unless it was like Michael Jordan or somebody like that. Maybe I'd have to like get them to do a cameo at the party or something. I don't know, but
Yeah. Can you give us some names?
I can give you some names. We're actually really close to over here. We're Sean T from Sean T's Fitness, Beachbody, all that. He's one of my main clients. I've cooked for him multiple times. We do a whole lot of really fun stuff. Him and Scott, the whole family are just excellent people, and really like, I love cooking for them. I love to cook for Ari and Lauren. People might know them from The Bachelor, and they're just also just really cool people. I've cooked for some football players like Debo down in Atlanta. I've cooked for, I don't know, senators, a lot of politicians. I'm probably not going to name them so I don't get no hate mail. Just different people from different sides. I've cooked for a ton of like CEOs of Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
I've cooked for a ton of people that would be who are known on CNBC in that business world. I've cooked for baseball players, Cy Young Award winners. I've cooked for gold medalists. I've cooked for a lot of different people, and you just never know who's going to call. So it's always, I've had to turn down quite a few celebrities too, and that's always hard to do. But like I said, I just can't see myself canceling somebody who was planning 6 months, a year out,
Right.
and then they get a week out, and then I'm like, oh, by the way, I can't do your party. That's
Right.
just not fair. So
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
going to do that.
Yeah, that's good that you do that. Raised so many publications, both in Arizona and on News Channel. We have some of the publications here. Can you talk a little bit about it? We have Entrepreneurs of 2021, and also he's in Art Source magazine and in other publications.
Yeah, I've been in quite a few different magazines and things like that. I've just been blessed. For some reason when they put me on the magazine, it sells. I don't know why. So and that happens, then the word gets out, and then people start calling me more.
Right.
Art Source I don't even know how I got into that publication. They reached out to me. They wanted me to be in it. They did a great spread in there. You got to check it out if you haven't checked out this is based out of Sedona.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the highest quality magazines I've been in for sure. It's just well done.
It's beautiful. It has this like matte finish.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
Yeah, it's very nice.
So that's really proud of that one. And with television again, I feel like once you get in it, you kind of get in there. I don't know how it happened. I was checking my email one day and they asked me to be on TV, and I said okay. And unfortunately, I've had to turn down certain networks a couple of times just because my scheduling's not. Yeah. I'm not going to cancel parties to go do something that you know, I'm just not going to do that.
Right. It just shows that you put your customer first, you know.
My clients are first.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to. I've been there, and I mean, who would want to get canceled on?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I just can't do that. Now, if it was 3 to 4 months out, that would be a different story. But, you know, it just never seems to happen that way. And even with TV, they are not planning so far out. I did have one of the networks that I was going to do something for, and then COVID hit. So it's just, you never know who's going to, again, like I say, you never know who's going to be in my Instagram and who's going to be in my my emails. Yeah. And maybe it'll work out one day to where I can do one of the major networks and do something fun for people.
Right, and you've been on what, AZ Central, right? And where's some of the networks so that people can find you?
AZ TV, so Daily Mix. That's got Brad in it. Brad and the whole gang down there. Arizona Midday. I've done pretty much every station in Arizona. I think I've pretty much done. I've done Tucson. I've done Phoenix. I'm going down doing going back to my home state next month. I'm gonna do some TV stuff down there with them.
Oh, cool.
And then
now tell them, where's your hometown?
So I'm from Georgetown County, a little small town named Andrews. It's in Georgetown County. It's about 15 minutes from the coast, in between Charleston and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So that's where I'm from. When I was about 15, 16, I moved up to Charlotte. Worked in so my first job was in Andrews as at a place called Seafood Shack. And Seafood Shack was just a little hole in the wall, fried fish, fried seafood, hush puppies type place. And we were slammed. We were busy, unbelievably busy. We had handwritten tickets. It was insane. But yeah, we had really good seafood, and people would come from other towns to come eat with us. And that was my first job. 2 weeks into that job, I was washing dishes and cutting fish. Our main cook didn't show up. They threw me on the grill, and that was it. That's how it started. Yeah. Luckily, he wasn't able to make it. I mean, it would have happened eventually, but that day it threw me in there, and it was no like, hey, we're gonna bring you in and give you the. No, it was like, get on the grill and don't F this up. It's Friday, and dear God, please don't F this up. And that's where I got thrown into. So it was always pressure from the jump. It was pressure from the first time. But what I loved about that is after the shift was over, people were coming up going like, man, you killed it. Man, you did great. Will, you did it. And, I was like 14, 15 years old working with a bunch of 20-year-olds. So I caught a lot of like shit from these guys and girls. And after that, they kind of looked at me in a little different way. You know what I mean? And that respect factor probably factored into the reason why I fell in love with it. You know?
Yeah, 14, at age of 14, you're kind of a prodigy.
I would have been if, except I just liked to party a whole lot and didn't really take it that serious because it was just so easy. To me, it was so easy. So like, I just didn't take it serious. I didn't realize how good I was at it until like years later. Because to me, it was a lot like, it was just like friends hanging out in the kitchen cooking, and we just like happened to be serving these people who are coming in the restaurant, and that's kind of how like I viewed it. It was just fun. It was similar to sports, and people in kitchens know this because it's like that pressure. I got addicted to the pressure. I moved up. My grandma was sick. I moved up to Charlotte. I was only like 15, 16 then. And I started working at McDonald's, and they put me in drive-thru every day for about 3 months straight. And I would always be scheduled for grill or front line and all this back drive-thru. And they would throw me and this other dude in drive-thru every day. And it's really what gave me my ability to be on stage. Because drive-thru was a stage. And I was from a little small town, so it brought me out my shell. And I was, sitting there like, you know what, I'm gonna try this line on this girl, and she'd be like, F you, and I'd be like, that didn't work. And then, like, the next, I'd be like, let me change that up a little bit, and then like, so it really, you know, all jokes aside, it really brought me out of my shell, and it made me comfortable being me. Made me comfortable, like if you can be comfortable in a McDonald's drive-thru being yourself, you can be comfortable in any situation. I had people throw cheeseburgers at me. I had people throw milkshakes at me. I had people curse me. I had one dude like tap the glass and tell me that it wasn't bulletproof and I need to watch how I talk to people through drive-thru. Yeah, the dude was in a pinstripe suit. He looked like Biggie. And I was like, it changed. I was like, I need to watch how I talk to people. He's got a point. You can't. I didn't realize how important it was and how valuable to learn those lessons that are like ingrained in the DNA of the South and brought from Africa. Like you gotta wake up really early in the morning to pull something over on a Geechee. I'm gonna tell you, like people don't notice. Like you're not gonna just roll up and spit a line of some BS and somebody go like, oh really? Like it's not the way it is, and you get challenged, you know. And like I grew up where I had to rise to the occasion. I couldn't just like fold, because it's like what makes you who you are as a man and as a person, as a human being, is to be able to adapt and to thrive in those kind of situations. And that's where I first learned how to cook. That's where my African influences on my cuisine still shine through, is because that's really where my roots came from in kitchens and cooking, is because of that. What was passed down to my mom's family and people like that, what was passed down to my dad's family, and then what was passed down straight to me, you know, cuisine-wise. Just different seasonings, different flavors, different techniques. Eddie Lee was my best friend's dad. He was my next door neighbor. He taught me how to grill. He was the first one to ever say, Will, watch that grill. Which he called me white boy, but he still said, white boy, watch that grill. And I'd sit there like I was like 10 years old. I was like, if this chicken burns, I'm a dead man. So like, that's where I learned. That was my first taste of what it is. And he knew that I loved to cook. So he would always be like, Will, you know why I put the vinegar on it? Because it is. You know why I do this? Is because it is. And this is how it is.
Sounds like he was one of your mentors.
He was definitely a mentor of mine. And he was also one of the people who kept me on the straight and narrow whenever I started to kind of go into that street life, you know. And I think I could have easily went a different route, and so could have my buddies growing up, because that was their dad, and he was also kind of like my dad. He was like the whole town's dad, you know. Like he was that dude. He didn't care who you were, where you're from, who your parents were, whatever. Like he was going to make sure you were out of the street, you were playing basketball, doing something productive, you know, right from wrong, stuff like that. So like that's how I grew up. Like I can still remember all my teachers, and that influence that really shaped who I am today came from those beginnings. And then I took that and went out further with it. And then I've always been a knowledge seeker. Like I love to feel people's experiences. I want to know like what was it like to be where you from? What is it like to be where you grow up like you did? Oh, you grew up this way? I love that. Like, so I'm just always trying to like bring that in, and all that kind of like makes me who I am. Right. With my core being raised up in South Carolina, but there's a whole lot of other aspects that I've brought to making me who I am. And who I am today ain't gonna be who I am tomorrow, and it's not gonna be who I am next week. You know, it's just a snapshot in time, and I'm just gonna try to always keep learning. And that's why I traveled all around the country, and then I worked in Wyoming and New Orleans and all these other places, and I just kept absorbing what I could, and I hope I'm reflecting all those places in a positive light.
Right. And, you know, coming from the South, he's going to visit his hometown next month. Mm-hmm. So are you excited? Like,
I am excited, yeah, for sure. Like, it's always fun to go back. It's a little different now, but still it's the same old thing. I'm still chill Will or whatever. When I come back and, you know, I get around my homeboys or whatever, it's always this. It's good because I don't get that out here. That's what I'm missing. Like I don't really have like the friends out here like that. I am blessed to have some friends, but not the people I grew up with who know me.
Yeah, like
they know me. You know what I mean? They know me, and And they'll call me on my bullshit too, you know what I mean? And that's always good too, because I'll come around there and be like, you think you the big chef, huh? Like, you the big chef. Come here, chill. You gonna grill it. And I'm like, man, I don't feel like cooking, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's how it is. And they good. It's always good to get around family too. I got a lot of, all my family's back south, except for I got a sister and my niece just had a baby, so it'll be the first time I get to see baby Reed. Andy Pope, I remember her being this big, running around, pushing the stroller. She was always had a stroller, and I was like, that girl wants to have some babies.
She's meant to be a mom.
Yeah, and she was, she's gonna be a great mom. So that's exciting for the family, and then I'm gonna be able to do some stuff down there from professionally too.
Wow.
And I'm gonna go, see some people I haven't seen in a while. So I'm definitely excited. I'm just excited to smell the salt water, to get some humidity. I've used so much lotion since I've been out here in Arizona. Jeez, like, need a bottle of lotion in my car, and then it'll explode, and then it'll melt and catch on fire.
I know.
No, for real. It's the struggle out here.
It really is. Moving to Arizona, like I didn't use lotion before until like when you live here, you really have to lather on lotion because it's almost like zero humidity here.
Yeah, it is. It's close to zero, and I didn't use lotion either, and now I'm like dried up. I drink water like, they got shout out to all the people doing the IVs around town because Lord, we need them.
Yeah.
Like they called me up. It was like, we're going to give you an IV and all this because of Instagram or whatever. And I was like, all right. Yeah. So they came over to give me a double IV. I didn't go to the bathroom one time.
Wow.
So that's how dehydrated I was. And I wasn't drinking and I wasn't doing anything. It was just a normal day. I thought I was hydrated and I wasn't. So that's one thing I tell all my bachelorettes and all my people coming out here, start drinking water 3 days before you get here because by the time you get here, it's too late.
Yeah.
You never catch up.
What's some of your vision for next year?
For
your business?
I don't know what I want to do, really. And I don't like to talk about what I'm going to do until I do it.
Okay.
So
that means that you guys have to keep an eye on his social media, right? Whenever he announces it.
Yeah, and I'm at the point now I don't know what I'm going to do. One day I'm like, I'm going to branch out and do all these things. The next day I'm like, I'm going to retire. So I don't know. Like, it kind of depends on what day of the week it is and what I'm going to do. I've cooked a lot of parties. I made the mistake of taking a little vacation last week, and I was like, this is nice. So, like, I don't know what's next. I think, generally speaking, I'll probably expand out a little more. Maybe I'll add a few more services. I got some things in the works that I can't really talk about. But no matter what I'm doing, no matter where it is, I'm going to be feeding people, making people happy, and talking shit. And that's a given. That's what I'm going to do. As long as I'm breathing air, and I'm going to be trying to give back as much as I can, and like really drop some knowledge on people, and then be the best Will I can be.
Awesome. That sounds like a great plan. What would you say is that keeps like the quality of your dining consistent amongst parties?
I'd say that I grew up eating good food, and I'm just not going to serve something. If I cook something right here and it wasn't my level, it's going in the trash, and I'm going to give you your money back. That's just the way it is. I'm not gonna try to pass something off that I wouldn't feed to my mom. You know what I mean? If I wouldn't feed my mom and my grandma and them, and know they would love it, I'm not giving it to a client, and that's just. You can't, I operate from a different standpoint, and people will tell you that work with me. I know you hear all the horrors in the restaurants of people doing stuff with people's food. I would fight somebody on the line before I let somebody do something to somebody's food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't care who it is, how big they are, you're not going to mess with nobody's food. And you're not going to even serve something. I quit places because their quality wasn't where I thought it should have been. And I told them, on the way out the door, like, this is ridiculous and you need to step your game up. Especially when it comes to health and things like that. Like, I'm not about that. I'm not going to play those games because Lord knows I believe in karma, and if I go out there and I put some stuff out like that, I'm going to go out and everywhere I eat, I'm going to catch that dude who's doing something to the food. So that's crazy. It's not something, and not to that level, but even if the food just isn't to my standard, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to serve it. I learned that a long time ago in restaurants. Don't serve it if it's not it's not up to standard. It's much easier to go say, hey, I made a mistake.
Right.
I did something wrong. I left the oven on too high or something, than to try to push something off to somebody that's not on point. Like,
Right. Personally, like even me, I've stopped going to restaurants whenever they, you know, like do a horrible job at cooking. It's just like, it makes me less likely wanting to go back. So
Oh, right.
I feel like consistency within the restaurant realm is very important.
right, and the thing, people, you know, I've had tons of customer service training, and that's one thing you learn is it takes it takes $1 to retain a client. It takes $10 to get a new one. So if I lose you as a client, I got to go pay $10 to get a new client. And I could have just spent $1 and come to you and said, hey, Elora, we made a mistake. We read the ticket wrong. We thought we had macaroni and cheese. We're not going to send you out. This is what we got here in the corner of the pan. Now I send out the stuff in the corner of the pan. You're going to look at it and you're going to go, man, they tried to play me. And you're going to leave and you're not going to come back. If I just come to you up front and I say, hey, we don't have the macaroni and cheese, then you say, oh, you know what? I really want mashed potatoes anyway.
Yeah.
Boom, done. You know what I mean?
Those
So it's
little touches. You know,
yeah, and it's
matters.
just knowing. That's another thing I don't do to my clients. I never lie to them. I don't lie to people in general, but like my clients especially, I'm telling you this is what happened. This is what we are up against, and this is what I have to deal with. What can we do to make this work?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You set the
'Cause-
expectation. Yeah.
Exactly, and people appreciate that, man. They'd much rather be told the truth than lied to and then find out that it's some bullshit. And people can look through and see when you BSing, and that goes back to the working in restaurants. I know how it is to walk by that table and hear them go like, they thought they were going to tell me I saw the crab legs in the back. You know what I mean? Like, people talk at the tables and working in restaurants again. You learn, you pick up that that server thought he got away with that? No. You know, they know, and then they don't come back. And you lose your client. So it's just dumb to do, and it's not something that I believe in anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree with that. One of the things that I noticed on your website is that you travel now to different cities. So that means that he's not just restricted to cooking in Arizona. If you live in any city, you can request his service. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can. I just one of the places I want to go back to is my home state, and I really throw North Carolina in there with that. I spent a lot of time in North Carolina too, so those areas I feel like I get a lot of demand for it there. So I figured, I was like, why not open it up? Now it's going to be hard for me to do because I am booked out so far, and it's really hard. And we got a crazy year coming up in Arizona. We got the Super Bowl. We got the normal things like Waste Management and Barrett Jackson. So it's just going to be insanity here. But every time I can get away, even if it's for a little quick trip to South Carolina or to Nashville or one of these places, and just to really, I'm doing it just to break up the monotony. I've done so many parties here that I just feel like that a change of scenery every couple of months. And really what got me even thinking about it, how hot it was here. I was like, man, what can I do to get out of this heat? So then I booked up the whole summer. So it didn't really work like I had anticipated. But, you know, it's there for people if you want to go on my website and check it out. And even if one of the cities that you're in, if you want me and you got enough people that want to eat, I'll come to your city. I don't care how big it is, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've tasted his cooking and they're fabulous, especially your shrimp. It's like citrus and it's just a nice balance of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah, that's, I'm known for my seafood, you know? So
Yeah, it's amazing. So let's talk about some fun stuff. What's your favorite celebrity crush?
Oh, my favorite celebrity crush, because I got some that aren't that favorite. Celebrity crush. Ooh, am I going to put this out here? Oh, there's a lot. And you know what? I'm terrible with celebrities' names. I love Scarlett Johansson. I love her.
She's beautiful.
She is beautiful. I love Rihanna. Depends on what we're talking about here. I'd say Scarlett Johansson's probably my celebrity crush.
Yeah.
And then there's some that's not so well known, but I can't remember their names.
So Scarlett Johansson it is.
Scarlett Johansson, let's go with
What
her.
about favorite food?
I love seafood. So I would have to say crab. I'd have to say any kind of crab, just steamed, grilled, whatever preparation, butter, Old Bay, a little bit of salt. That's all I need in my life. I love that. And then I love when I put it over some rice and then all of that crab flavoring drips down into the rice. That rice is almost as good as the crab, but crab, then scallops, and then...
Do you eat crawfish? You're from the South.
I don't really like crawfish that much. No, I hate... Sorry, Louisiana people. You know, in New Orleans, it was like huge, and I had to eat them, but just they taste... they're like not as good as shrimp. So like, you know what I mean?
It's a lot of
I'll
hard
eat them.
work,
Don't
too.
get me wrong. I'll eat them, and they are a lot of hard work, and they you got to break them from the back and stuff, and really, they have to be fresh. They have to be live, first off, and I can't get them out here. If somebody's doing a crawfish boil, I'll eat some for sure, and I'll eat them and like them.
Yeah.
But they're just not in my top level, you know.
Right.
They're like in a pinch type stuff. So.
Okay. What would be your dream vacation?
Dream vacation. So I got a couple of those too. All these questions are hard. They're supposed to be easy. Yeah, like New Zealand.
Oh.
I want to go to New Zealand very badly. That was my aunt was who I credit, Sandy Turner. Love you. She was an international flight attendant. Me growing up, so she was, you know, me being from a little small town, she was sending me boomerangs and koala bears and, you know, stuff from Tokyo and all this. She did the Pacific Rim, so she was mainly in the Pacific area. So I would love to just hit all those countries, you know, and then of course Italy for the food, France for the food. I'd love South America. I love the Latin culture. I love the Latin cuisine. I love Latin women. So like, there we go. Like now we, J-Lo. Back to the other question. Shakira. Every Latin actress and entertainer is female. Check all the way down. But no, seriously, I love the food. I love spicy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's so. There we go again with the cuisine. I love Spanish flavors. I love it. So, you know, it just all ties back down. I would go anywhere. I'm not a cold weather dude. I don't want to go where it's cold. I spent years in Wyoming and Montana, and that's about as. If I never touch a snow shovel again, I'll be happy.
So you moved to the hottest state.
Yeah, that's why I moved here.
One of the hottest states.
I was like, no winter. I don't want any winter at all. Not even a little bit.
So what would be your dream? Who would you dream to cook for?
Ooh, that's another hard one. Michael Jordan. I grew up loving basketball, and he's still my GOAT. I'd love to cook for Michael Jordan. I think that would be the one, and I think he would talk shit to me the entire time, and he would probably, if he even talked to me at all, he would, he'd probably give me some shit, and I think I'd love it, and I think we'd get along good. Oh, Cardi B. I love Cardi B. Cardi B, I love watching her when she's like doing her candid stuff. Like, I just think me and her would just kick it and chill like so hard. She'd be in the kitchen like also giving me shit. And like, I love people who give me shit. Like, this is the thing that like, cause people, when I go in and they're like, oh my God, chef, it's cool. But when I go in and they're like, it better taste good. I love that. Like,
it's like a challenge.
It's a challenge too. And then I know I'm like, you know what? I like that person, you know? And I grew up around a bunch of strong women in my family, and they don't take no crap off of me. So I feel like that's what I'm drawn to.
I know you do impressions. Can you do what's your favorite impression?
I can't. I don't know. What was that?
How about a Southern impression?
A Southern? Well, that's me. I am a Southern impression, but
or
what can I
British,
say?
or you choose.
I don't know. Like, I love to do like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Chef Turner, get down, get the food ready, and get in the, you know, like, I don't know. That was terrible. So we're gonna cut that out. But no, and I do like a terrible Jamaican accent, like, hey man, why is it so hot in the kitchen? You got the fire too hot, you know, the bumbalaya, blood clot, whatever. No, I try not to do impressions when cameras are rolling. It's mainly behind the scenes stuff.
What are some of the things you do to kind of take off the stress, kind of like relax when you're not cooking? Do you Netflix and chill? Do you
I don't really watch TV.
Okay.
TV is not really one of my things that I do, but when I do, it's like a block of by.
Yeah.
So like if I turn on Netflix and I start watching, it's like I watch. Next thing I'm on like season 4, and I'm like, will this shit ever end? Like, please God, get to the end.
Guilty.
You know, and like I'm just sitting there like, end, please end. I can't watch another episode. That's why I can't stand TV series, is because they never end. And then they'll just go off in the middle, and they'll just be like, oh, what happened to that? I'll never know if that was an alien or a ghost. You know, and like, so those TV series, y'all gotta stop that for real. But no, yeah, I'll sit down or I'll watch 3 movies in a row. You know, and like, if I ever get into that, that's what I'll do. And then that helps. But I like to drive.
Oh.
I like to get in the car and just drive. So I like to go up like to Payson or up to Sedona, and like I love the road trip as much as I love actually getting to where I'm going.
Yeah.
And my mom used to say when I'd start crying, they'd put me in the car and drive me around the block until I fell asleep. So I think I'm a rider from the old school. But like, I love that. I love traveling, and I love spending time with people. I love eating. I love going out and getting served, you know, and I love to go out in new restaurants. I'm gonna go ahead and say this: The Mission, one of my favorite restaurants
I haven't
in
tried that yet.
Scottsdale. Well, you know what I mean? Like, they set the camera up, they're gonna watch me do a crossover. It's like, dude, that shit was so slow. Like, don't do that no more. Like, stop. Or the other thing is like people cooking at home. Or no, those videos where they're cooking and they're fake cooking or fake making something.
Yeah.
Then they just keep asking like, oh, and I'm gonna add one more thing. And and it's a joke. But they just keep going because they want to build their algorithm up.
Yeah.
Those are weird.
Trying to extend the video.
Yeah, they try to extend it and keep you watching like, oh, we're just going to add a caterpillar to the top. And then what I'm going to do is and it's ridiculous. And the stuff that people do for social media and Instagram is mind-boggling to me. I can't even post at the right times. I don't even have the patience for that. Like, I'll post at like 2 in the morning, get like 4 likes. I don't care. Like, I do it for my clients and for me. And because this chick made me do it. And really, my social media is really like a Private Chef 101. It just teaches everybody how to do what I do. But you know what? I love it, and I love to be a trendsetter. So I love that aspect of it. But I could take that or leave it. So
Yeah. Well, it's been great having you here and being able to interview and kind of get a little glimpse into your life as a private chef. Is there anything that you want to tell them? Like your social media, how they can follow you?
follow me on Instagram at Chef Will Turner. My Facebook's really that's more personal for me. I do have a chef page, if you can find it. It's Chef William Turner, I think. Yeah, you know, and I'd say just tell people to like keep doing what you love. Don't believe the media, and we all just trying to have fun out here, and that's about it. You know, like I thank you first off for doing this. We kind of go way back a little bit, and I'm excited about your career. I'm excited to see you like constantly growing and constantly doing something new. And I feel like that you're gonna be, you're probably gonna take the real estate and everything you got going further than what I've taken this. And that's really cool. Is I like to watch other people succeed and be happy at what they do.
Yeah, it's great. Living our passion, I feel like that's the thing, right? Like being able to do what we love and then growing that to the next level. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's really important for people who want to go forward and doing the careers that they actually really like. Right?
You know, and that's another thing I want to say, because finding your passion, and I always tell people, when you find your passion, you're in the right lane then. And you probably already know it. You just don't really realize you know it yet. Like, I was in restaurants, I knew I would stop working in a restaurant and go work at a construction site for like, it would pay double what I made in the restaurant. And I'd go work at a construction doing like carpentry or welding or something like that. And I couldn't stand it. And I would take a half pay cut to go work back in a restaurant somewhere. And it just.
When you know.
Yeah, and I was too dumb to know that that was my passion. But nobody even talked about what your passion was back then. It was just like, get a paycheck and make some money. So I feel like find your passion. And then the other thing is it's okay to not be an entrepreneur. You can be an employee. This country was built off employees. There's many millionaires and billionaires that are employees still to this day. So and there's a whole lot of broke people that were entrepreneurs who went bankrupt. So just remember, find your passion and be okay being what you are and doing what you want to do and how you want to do it. Because that's what bothers me so much about people giving these generalized statements on how to make it and the top 3 ways to make it and top 5 ways to do this. That doesn't apply to everybody. Right. It only applies to certain people, and really it only applied to them. So generally speaking, there are some rules and stuff that will get you further in life than others, like getting up early in the morning, just some basic stuff, having a good attitude, being positive, staying out of a victim mentality. These things are going to get you further, but it doesn't always apply, and there's sometimes that you can't put everything in the same shell. And I feel like that's what we do with a lot of social media, is because we kind of pick and choose what we want, and then the algorithm feeds that to us. And just be careful about that, because it can have you in a position that you shouldn't be in. So find that passion, dedicate yourself to that passion, and then from there on, the sky's the limit.
Right. Just try all the things that you feel like you like until you find the one, right? And
try them an extended amount of time.
Right.
Don't just go and be like, draw one stick man, be like, I hate art. You know what I mean? You need to give it some time to see if it, and really, whenever I'm in doubt, I just always go back to helping people. Because when you go back to helping people, I think that's pretty much everybody's passion when you really get down to it. That's humanity. So if you're really in doubt and you don't know what your passion is, start by helping some people, doing some stuff. And then that'll kind of lead you into that true passion. And, from there, you got to dedicate yourself and really just apply yourself. And like I said, sky's the limit. You can do it.
Right. Absolutely agree. Well, thank you, Chef Will Turner, for being here. And I'm Elora Tran. Thank you. You can check out our video on Chef's Instagram page and his other social media and his website, and also on my YouTube channel. Thank you.